Have you ever wondered why some men seem to have a natural ease to gain female attention, while others, even though they are good parties, always end up in the dreaded friendship zone? What I am about to share with you can completely transform your way of communicating with women and, consequently, your love and personal life. Throughout this video, I will reveal 3 communication techniques that few men know, true emotional triggers that arouse genuine interest and create a deep connection. We are not talking about manipulative tricks, but an authentic approach based on Stoic principles of self, knowledge, and personal development. This may be the key not only to attract women from your dreams, but also to build more significant relationships, but to increase your prosperity in all areas of life. Imagine mastering the art of communication so deeply that your words are recorded in the minds of those who hear them. This is what it is about. So get ready for a journey of self, discovery, and transformation. And don't forget to comment below your biggest question about communication with women, so I can address in future videos. Most men make the fatal error of praising superficial aspects in women, without realizing that this puts them in the same position as all others who receive the same beaten comments. What I will share today is different. It's deep. It is transformative. Have you noticed how we feel attracted to what is rare and valuable? This principle, which Stoic people understood so well, applies perfectly to human relations. When you can see and value something unique in one person, something others don't realize, you arouse a feeling of special connection. Think for a moment. How many times have you heard that we should be ourselves? This advice, although common, carries a deep truth. The old Stoic, such as Marco Aurelio, taught that true strength comes from self, knowledge, and authenticity. When you communicate from this place of genuineness, people feel, and women, in particular, have an almost supernatural ability to detect when someone is being authentic or just reciting decorated phrases. Now, have you stopped to reflect on what you really want in a relationship? I'm not just talking about physical characteristics, but connection, shared purpose, mutual growth. This clarity is fundamental even before we think of such forbidden compliments. The first principle I need you to understand is that the true attraction does not start with words, but with mindset. You could have the best script in the world, but if your mind is programmed for scarcity and despair, your words will sound empty. Stoics taught us that our perceptions shape our reality. How do you perceive yourself in the context of conquest? Imagine for a moment. What would happen if you approached every interaction not with the goal of getting something, but of genuinely discovering if there is compatibility? This change of perspective by itself already transforms your presence completely in the way you communicate. Have you ever observed how the most successful men in relationships rarely seem to be trying to conquer? They simply exist in their own strength, confident in their value. This is a fundamental lesson of Stoicism, to recognize its own value regardless of external validation. But let's get down to business. Are you ready to know the 3 compliments that trigger a deep attraction? Before, I need you to understand that it is not just about memorizing phrases, but of incorporating a way of thinking and realizing that it will naturally lead you to communicate more impactfully. The first forbidden compliment is not exactly a compliment in the traditional sense. It is about recognizing and valuing her inner journey. When you say something like, "I realize how you find meaning even in little things. This is rare today," you are showing that you see beyond the superficial. You are recognizing your inner world, something very few men do. Have you noticed how people illuminate when they feel they were truly seen? Not just for your appearance, but for who they really are? This is the power to recognize one's inner journey. And when you do this with a woman, you immediately differ from the multitude of men who only notice the obvious. Think for a moment. When was the last time someone recognized something deep in you, besides what is visible in the eye? How did you feel? Probably felt understood, valued, perhaps even thrilled. It is exactly this feeling that you can awaken when recognizing the inner journey of a woman. Now you could be thinking, but how can I recognize the inner journey of someone I just met? This is a valid question, and the answer is the quality of your attention. When you're truly present, observing not only with your eyes, but with all the senses, you will capture nuances that most people lose. Note how she reacts to different subjects, the brightness in her eyes when she talks about something that falls in love, or subtlety in her tone of voice when she mentions a challenge overcome. These small details reveal rich inner worlds. They are waiting to be recognized. And when you show this perception, you create a type of connection that goes far beyond physical attraction. Have you ever wondered why certain conversations seem to flow naturally, while others seem forced and uncomfortable? The difference is usually in the presence. When you are fully present without a mental script or hidden schedule, you create space for authenticity. And it is in this space that the true connections happen. The old Stoic practiced what they called full attention, the ability to be completely present at the present time without being distracted by the past or future. This practice not only enriches your own life experience, but also dramatically increases your ability to perceive nuances and create significant connections. Now, think about the following. What do you really value in the people you relate to? What inner qualities do you admire? This self-reflection is crucial because what we value in others often reflect what we value in ourselves. And when you recognize these qualities in a woman, your appreciation comes from a place of authenticity. The second forbidden compliment involves recognizing the impact it has on others and on the surrounding environment. It's not about saying you are beautiful or you are smart, but something like, I noticed how you can make people around you feel comfortable. It demonstrates a rare emotional intelligence. You are commenting on something that few perceive, your ability to positively influence the environment. And this shows that you are providing a different, deeper type of attention. And here is a crucial point. This type of observation only works when it is genuine. You really need to be aware and realize these qualities. It cannot just be a mechanical technique. Stoics teach us the importance of truth and integrity in all our actions. Maintaining this integrity is fundamental not only for its effectiveness in communication, but for its own development as a man. Have you ever noticed how you feel when someone recognizes not only what you do, but the positive impact you generate? There is a huge difference between listening to "you did a good job" and "your work inspired the whole team to work harder." The second recognizes not only action, but its effect on the world. For a woman, to be recognized not only for her qualities, but for the positive impact she generates, she is deeply validating. Imagine the difference between saying, "You are very kind," and "I realize how your kindness turned everyone's mood in the room." The first statement is generic and could be said to anyone. The second demonstrates attentive observation and specific appreciation of its unique impact. It is this kind of recognition that creates a lasting impression. Did you know that, according to psychological research, people tend to feel more attracted to those who make them feel good about themselves? But not a superficial or flattering way, but in an authentic way that reinforces your sense of value and positive impact. When you genuinely recognize the positive impact of a woman, you are essentially saying, "I see the good you bring to the world and value it." Now I would like you to reflect. How can you develop this observation capacity? How can you train your eyes to see beyond the obvious and realize the subtle qualities that really define a person? This is an excellence in excellence, training the mind to see reality more clearly and deeply. A valuable practice is what I call conscious observation. When you're in a social environment, dedicate a few moments to simply observe the dynamics between people. Who illuminates the environment with your presence? Who has the gift of making others hear? Who brings clarity to confusing discussions? By developing this observation habit, you will naturally become more perceptive in all your interactions. Have you noticed how certain people have the ability to completely change the energy of an environment when they enter it? Some people bring lightness, others bring depth, others still bring clarity or empathy. By recognizing and valuing these unique qualities, you demonstrate a perception that few have. And here is a crucial point for your financial and professional prosperity. This same ability to perceive people's unique impact is extremely valuable on the business world. Exceptional leaders are those who can identify and enhance the unique talents of each member of their team. By developing this ability in the context of personal relationships, you are simultaneously cultivating a high-value professional competence. The third forbidden compliment is perhaps the most powerful of all because it touches something we all desire deeply: to be understood in our complexity. It is about recognizing their contradictions in a positive way. For example, it's fascinating how you can be so analytical and rational, but at the same time, so connected with your emotions and those of others. You're basically saying, I see your complexity, and that's exactly what makes you extraordinary. This type of observation demonstrates an extraordinarily refined perception and makes it feel not only seen, but understood in its entirety. Can you understand how this type of communication goes far beyond simple sung or superficial compliments? We are talking about a form of deep human connection based on genuine observation and authentic appreciation of the other. And most interestingly, when developing this capacity, you not only become more attractive to women, but also enriches all your human relationships. A question for you to reflect. How do you deal with your own internal contradictions? Do you accept them as a natural part of human complexity or try to deny them? Our ability to accept and integrate our own contradictions is directly related to our ability to recognize and value contradictions in others. Stoics understood that true strength is not to eliminate our internal contradictions, but to integrate them into a cohesive personality. When you recognize and value contradictions on a woman, you are essentially saying, I don't expect you to be perfect or one-dimensional. I see your complexity and value it. Think about the most interesting people you know. Are they usually those that have apparently contradictory qualities? The artist with analytical mind, the poet soul entrepreneur, the assertive person who is also deeply empathic. It is these unique combinations of apparently opposed qualities that make someone truly fascinating. Have you noticed how most people try to fit into simplistic categories? I'm a rational person, or I'm an emotional person. I'm an outgoing, or I'm an introvert. The truth is that we are all much more complex than these simplistic dichotomies suggest. And when you recognize this complexity in a woman, you demonstrate a perception and acceptance that are extremely rare. Imagine the impact of saying something like, it's interesting how you show so much confidence in your opinions, but at the same time keeps a genuine opening to other perspectives. This combination is rare and valuable. You are essentially recognizing an apparent contradiction, confidence versus opening, and re-alleviating it as a unique force. This type of observation shows not only deep attention, but also an appreciation for human complexity. Now, you might be thinking, does it all seem wonderful, but how do I integrate it in practice, especially if I'm naturally more reserved or have it difficult to express my observations? This is a valid concern, and the answer lies in the Stoic principle of deliberate practice. Like any valuable skill, the ability to perceive and communicate deep observations requires practice. Start by watching the people around you, not just the women you want to attract, but all. Practice notice less obvious qualities, subtle impacts, interesting contradictions. Gradually, you will develop a clinical eye for what makes each person unique. Have you ever tried as a genuine and insightful observation can open doors for significant conversations? When you comment on something that demonstrates real attention, the person naturally feels valued and tends to open more. This creates a virtuous cycle of increasingly deep connection. A valuable practice is what Stoic people called afternoon exam. Devote a few minutes at the end of each day to reflect on their interactions. What unique qualities did you observe in the people you interacted with? What positive impacts did they generate? What interesting contradictions did you notice? This type of regular reflection sharpens your perception and enriches your connection capacity. And here's an important detail. Timing is crucial. These deep observations have more impact when made at the right time. when there's already some level of established connection. Lancing them early in the interaction may seem invasive or premature. Stoics valued discernment, knowing not just what to say, but when to say. Have you noticed how certain observations can sound strange if shared too early, but deeply impactful when shared at the right time? This discernment comes with the practice, with the careful observation of the receptivity of the other person. A useful general rule: the more personal observation, the more connection it must exist before sharing it. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I know if I'm on the right track? How do I recognize the signs that my communication is really creating connection? Excellent question. The lighter signs are genuine engagement, back questions, personal revelations, and of course, open and receptive body language. When a woman begins to share personal stories, formative experiences, or deep aspirations, this usually indicates that she feels seen and valued in her uniqueness. This is the type of answer you seek, not just surface attraction, but genuine opening for connection. An important reflection. Have you noticed how we naturally feel attracted to people who really seem to see us? It is no coincidence. As human beings, we have a profound need to be seen and understood in our essence. When you develop the ability to offer to someone, you meet one of your most fundamental emotional needs. Think about your own experiences. What people do you feel that really see it in essence? How do they demonstrate this perception? What do you feel when you are in their presence? You probably feel valued, understood, and consequently attracted by their presence. It is exactly this effect that you can generate when it develops the ability to see beyond the superficial. And here is a truth that few men understand. True achievement is not about techniques or tactics, but about authentic connection. Women are not awards to be conquered, but complex humans seeking significant connections, just like you. When you approach interactions from this perspective, it naturally becomes more authentic, present, and consequently, more attractive. Have you ever wondered why so many men, even those good-looking, good jobs and social status, still struggle to create deep connections with women? Often, it is because they address interaction from a place of lack or objective rather than genuine curiosity and a desire for connection. Stoics taught that excessive desire for a specific result often prevents us from acting with virtue and effectiveness. When you're desperately trying to impress or conquer, you lose the ability to be present and authentic. It's an interesting paradox. The more you try to get something in an interaction, the less likely you can get it. Have you ever tried that feeling of trying too much in a conversation and realize that the more you try, the more uncomfortable the situation becomes? This is a classic example of the Stoic principle that our excessive attachment to specific results often sabotage our effectiveness. Stoics teach us that we should focus on what is under our control. You cannot control if a particular woman will be attracted to you, but you can control your own authenticity, presence, and observation capacity. By focusing on these ways, you naturally become the kind of man that creates significant connections. A powerful question for reflection. What would your communication be like if you approached each interaction without specific expectations, but simply with genuine curiosity and a desire for connection? What would it be like if you weren't trying to get something, but simply exploring authentic human connection possibilities? This kind of approach not only transforms their communication with women, but enriches all their relationships. And paradoxically, that's when you leave desperate attachment to specific results that you often get exactly what you want: deep and significant connections. Have you ever considered how your life could change if you mastered the art of deep communication? Not just in terms of loving achievements, but in all spheres of life: professional, social, familiar. The ability to really see people and communicate this perception in an impactful way is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Imagine what it would be like to have the ability to create significant connections in any environment with anyone. Imagine the impact this would have on your professional opportunities, your friendships, on your family life. Authentic and deep communication is not just a tool of loving conquest. It is a fundamental competence for prosperity in all areas of life. Great leaders, entrepreneurs, and influencers share a common quality: the ability to make people feel seen, heard, and valued in their uniqueness. This capacity is not an innate talent, but an ability that can be developed with conscious practice. And the 3 forbidden compliments I shared today are powerful tools to develop this capacity. And now, I would like you to share in the comments, which of these 3 forbidden compliments seems more challenging for you to implement, and why? Your answer will help me create even more relevant future content for your development journey. Remember, personal development is not about becoming someone different, but about unveiling who you really are, removing the social conditioning and fear layers that often prevent us from expressing us authentically. Stoics called this to live according to nature, our true nature. Have you noticed how at times we are more authentic and present? We feel more alive and connected? This is not a coincidence. When we remove social masks and hidden agendas, we create space for genuine connections. And it is these connections that enrich our life experience. A deep question for reflection: what fears or insecurities often prevent you from being totally authentic in your interactions? The fear of rejection? The fear of seeming vulnerable? Does the fear of not being enough? Identifying these fears is the first step to transcend them. Stoics practiced what they called illness of ills, consciously visualizing their fears and mentally prepare to face them. This practice not only reduces anxiety, but also develops the courage necessary to act authenticity, even in the presence of fear. And as you develop this authenticity and deep connection capacity, you naturally become more prosperous in all areas of life. Prosperity is not just about money, but about rich experience, relationships, and meaning. And it all starts with the ability to really see people and communicate this perception in an impactful way. Have you noticed how often professional opportunities come from significant personal connections? How are the best business often born of relationships based on confidence and mutual respect? The ability to create authentic connections is not just a loving conquest ability. It is a fundamental competence for financial and professional prosperity. Imagine the competitive advantage you would have in every professional interaction could make someone else feel truly seen and valued in their uniqueness. This capacity can open doors that no technical qualification or diploma will never open. Did you know that, according to recent research, emotional intelligence, which includes the ability to perceive and respond to the emotional needs of others, is often a stronger predictor of professional success than IQ or technical qualifications? By developing the skills we discussed today, you are simultaneously investing in your professional development. Now, think about the following. How could you apply the principles of 3 forbidden compliments in professional contexts? How could you recognize the inner journey, the unique impact, and the fascinating contradictions of colleagues, customers, or business partners? How could this transform your professional dynamics? An insightful observation in a professional environment can be as impactful as in a romantic context. Imagine telling a colleague, "I noticed how you can keep calm and clear even in extreme pressure situations. It's a rare and extremely valuable quality for our team." This type of specific and genuine recognition creates confidence and mutual respect, the foundations of successful professional collaborations. Are you ready to take the next step on your development journey? To go beyond superficial techniques and explore the art of authentic connection? If so, this is just the beginning of our conversation. In the next few videos, we will explore even deeper aspects of authentic communication and male development. Before we conclude, I want to leave a final question for your reflection. What do you value the most in yourself, but rarely gets recognition from others? This question can open doors to deeper self-knowledge and, consequently, for more authentic communication with others. The true achievement begins with self-knowledge and manifests itself through the ability to create significant connections. And these connections, in turn, open doors for opportunities, prosperity, and fulfillment in all areas of life. Now, don't forget to leave your comment below, sharing your biggest doubt about communication with women, or which of the 3 forbidden compliments you want to try first. Your participation not only enriches our community, but it also helps me create content increasingly aligned with your real needs. And if this content has brought value to you, consider sharing it with friends who could also benefit from these ideas. Together, we are building a community of men committed to authentic development and significant relationships. Until the next video, where we will continue our journey of self-discovery and development. Remember, true strength comes not techniques or tactics, but of authenticity and the ability to create genuine connections. As Seneca would say, one of the great Stoics, the greatest wealth is to live happy with little, for sufficiency is the work of nature, not abundance. Have you ever wondered why some conversations seem to flow effortlessly, while others seem forced and uncomfortable? The difference is often underlying. When your intention is to genuinely connect, instead of impressing or conquering, the conversation naturally flows more authentically. Stoics talked about the importance of correct intention in all our actions. When your intention in communicating with a woman is genuinely valuing her uniqueness and creating an authentic connection, this intention shows in her presence and body language, regardless of the specific words you use. A powerful question: what would your interactions look like if your only intention were to create an authentic moment of connection, with no expectations about what could happen next? What would it be like to communicate from this place of genuine presence and curiosity instead of agenda or objective? This approach not only transforms their communication with women, but can revolutionize all their relationships. When you communicate from a place of authenticity and presence, you create space for the type of connection that we all deeply long. And here is a crucial point for your prosperity. This same quality of presence and authenticity is invaluable in the business world. In an era of digital communication and superficial interactions, the ability to create moments of genuine connection becomes increasingly rare and valuable. Have you noticed how great negotiators, salespeople, and leaders have the ability to make you feel like the only person in the room? This quality is not an innate talent, but an ability that can be developed. And the practices we discuss today are powerful ways to cultivate this ability. Now, a final question that goes directly to the heart of your male development journey. Who do you want to become? Not just in terms of achievements or skills, but in terms of presence and impact. What kind of energy do you want to bring to your interactions? What kind of impact do you want to have on people who cross your way? Stoics believed that our choices moment at moment not only determine our external results, but literally shape who we become. Each time you choose presence instead of distraction, authenticity instead of manipulation, courage instead of fear, you're not just increasing your chances of winning your dreams of your dreams. You are becoming the kind of man who naturally attracts what you want. And perhaps this is the deepest lesson of all. The true achievement is not about techniques or tactics, but about becoming. Become the kind of man who naturally creates deep connections. Become the kind of man people feel that they really see them. Become the kind of man who inspires and raises those around him. And by becoming this man, you will not only transform your love life, but you will create a legacy of positive impact that transcends any individual achievement. Be sure to leave your comment below and subscribe to more content about authentic development, prosperity, and significant relationships. We are together on this journey of transformation.